I have a question about casteism.
हाँ बोलो.
If you would entertain that right now, I
Sure,
was
sure.
listening to this podcast of yours
Hmm.
titled "You Don't Need Permission to Resist,"
Yeah.
in
I
which,
remember this.
in which you talked about certain people who were claiming that I forget the name, the
सिविलिटी.
Twitter
आई वाज़
CEO.
बेसिकली इट वाज़ अबाउट द सिविलिटी डिस्कोर्स कि तुम लोग प्रोटेस्ट कर सकते हो, पर यहाँ पे करो, इस जंतर-मंतर में करो, सड़कों को मत रोको.
No, no, that's not what this is about. I There's just like one small bit from that. Obviously, you cannot remember everything that you talked
हाँ,
about.
probably.
So
Just
I'll just
remind me
remind
what
you.
you read.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So certain people were really proud of the fact that a person from their own caste is now sitting at a very high position in Twitter. I think it was Parag, whatever his
Yeah,
name is.
yeah,
I do
yeah,
not
yeah.
remember.
The
And they feel
NRI head of Twitter, yeah.
right, and they feel that like they felt proud that somebody from their own caste is now sitting at such a high position. Uh, I do not like, I understand that, when marginalized communities see people from their own community going up to powerful positions, they
Yeah,
feel inspired and then they
yeah.
maybe, they feel that
Become
they can
more
also
motivated to
achieve.
pursue goals. Yeah.
Right, yeah, yeah. So, why is this only limited to a marginalized community? Why is this not an option for someone who comes from let's say, an upper caste background or any other privileged background?
Because they don't need it.
Okay, I mean,
Do you think they need it?
I feel that, see, I understand that upper caste people have a lot of privilege which they don't even know,
Hmm.
and they're so oblivious about it.
Yeah.
But I think after getting a lot of education, they'll understand their position. But
I don't
meanwhile,
think
when they
education will do it because what happens is that upper caste लोगों का problem ये नहीं होता कि they don't understand the problem. They have a few reactions to the problem. One, it's not a problem. They will say it's not a problem. Ow, 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 nerve. Yeah. One, they will say it is not a problem. Two, they will say it is a problem and we will be the ones who solve it. You guys don't know any better. So what they do is that even when in spaces like anti-caste discourse, for example, upper caste people will take up a lot of space, and a significant number of people from the Dalit Bahujan Adivasi quarters actually have this problem that they talk about quite a lot, which is that even the anti-caste initiatives that are undertaken by upper caste people, like you and me, for example, have casteism in them. We will take
right,
up all the important decision making positions. We will decide what is good for them and all that. So the upper caste reaction to a discriminatory society, even when it is pointed in the right direction, sometimes ends up doing more damage than it heals.
right. I think this reminds me of this movie in which a white girl is asking Malcolm X that she comes from a white background. She's really sorry about whatever her ancestors have done, but she asks him, "What can she do now? What can the white man do now
Get out of our
to
way.
to make the situation better?" And the
Hmm.
reply which Malcolm X gives is nothing, and that's all he says and moves on.
Yeah. There are multiple
Nevertheless,
views
yeah,
on this, by the way. There are multiple views on this. Some people say
sure,
that
sure.
there are people who talk about gatekeeping, who say that if you keep refusing everyone else, then the movement is not going to move forward. There are people who agree with it. I personally can't blame people for being untrustworthy and saying just get out of my way, because generally speaking, I think the only thing that privileged people can do in order to undo the damage that their way of life, their ancestors have done, is just to get out of the way of the people. Give them as many opportunities as possible and get out of the way. Let them do the thing.
Right. But as let's say, a young kid growing up, he's like 13, 14 years old, and he
Hmm.
sees this, and he's
Hmm.
maybe he is unaware of the negative aspects of his caste and whatever past history there is,
Hmm.
and he feels proud about the fact that someone from his caste is at a certain position. Is this person not innocent?
Yeah, they
And
are. They're innocent, but that's cultivated innocence, isn't it? That person has been kept innocent. That person has not. been educated by about the history of their caste, the kind of atrocities that have been committed by them, the kind of inhuman conditions that other people have been forced to live in because of the privileges that that person has. So I think
Mm,
if a 13-year-old boy has no idea about caste, I would think that the reason again is casteism, because they have been so isolated in their
right.
own caste bubble that they don't understand why this is problematic. And therefore, if, like, for example, you seem to be a sensible person, if you want to educate your children one day, I think the I think the goal would be to start them off on an anti-caste uh, information diet as young as possible. You think in America children don't learn about racism at a young age? We
No, we
don't.
do.
यहाँ पे वहाँ पे होता होगा, मतलब
Mm,
it's kind of inescapable because the skin colors are different and all
right.
that. They at least learn that at some point of time uh, racism was banned, like owning slavery was banned, right? हमारे यहाँ उतना नहीं होता एजुकेशन सिस्टम में. हमारे यहाँ
Yeah,
तो आधे से
I have
ज़्यादा
a
जो हिस्टोरिकल फिगर्स हैं, we
yeah,
we we don't even talk about their caste, and I think
I
we
have
should.
an anecdote regarding this.
Hmm.
When I was a little boy and I used to do anything wrong which my parents would disapprove of,
Hmm.
my mother would use a very casteist slur to tell me that I'm being a bad person. No,
Hmm.
no, for the longest time, I did not know that this is an actual caste of people, and it's a group
Yeah,
of people that I'm totally unaware of. When I
I,
went to
I I
college,
learned those
finally,
things even today. Last In the last 2 years, I have learned at least four words that are casteist insults, and I did not know that before that.
yeah. This keeps happening. Some like I'll use a word and somebody will educate me that no, this
Yeah.
is a casteist slur,
By the way,
or I'll
Ashwin,
read
here's a
about it
very good
online.
point. Here's a very good point from Taranga. She says the
Right.
burden of empowering education for privileged persons should not be on the marginalized people in movement spaces, which are for rights and resistance. Privileged people can research their own community. ये एक
Yeah,
इमोशनल
right.
लेबर होता है, उस जिसके बारे में तरंगा से एक और कॉन्टेस्ट में बात कर रहा था आज. बट इमोशनल लेबर of educating someone about how their communities have historically done bad things should not be on the marginalized. Agar if you are an upper caste individual, it is your job to educate yourself and the members of your family about caste awareness.
Right. So
Yeah.
I guess that's it. I have one more thing which I wanted to ask. Since I want to educate myself better when it comes to my own religion and my own caste history, I
Hmm.
wanted to know if there are any authentic sources uh, by which, like, I can, like, I asked this to you yesterday as well on your Instagram when you did an AMA,
अच्छा.
but I did not get a reply. So I'll just ask you again.
Hmm.
I want a Dvibhashi or a Diglot version of any of these scriptures, which is like an authentic source, if you're aware.
Which scriptures?
Any scripture. I want to like just start reading about,
Okay.
let's say,
So here's the first problem with that. If you look for translations of scriptures, you will find books written by Brahmins which praise those scriptures.
yeah,
If you look for English books about scriptures, you will find books written by upper caste Indians, and the target audience for that book is urban Indians or white people. If you truly want to study this stuff and you want to build an unbiased understanding of it, read commentaries on these scriptures by people who have been at the receiving end of oppression. So I would highly recommend start with books on anti-caste literature. There is a book called Hindu Imperialism by Swami
hmm,
something something. I forgot his name. Hold on. Swami Dharmatirth. Hindu
I'll
Imperialism by
just
Swami
write this
Dharmatirth.
down.
Read Annihilation of Caste by Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. Read Riddles in Hinduism by Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. I don't think you need more of scriptures. I think you need commentaries on scriptures written by people who are not fans of them.
Could you please repeat the name of the author of Hindu imperialism?
Swami Dharmatirth.
Yeah, I've written it down. Another, like, so obviously, this is exactly the issue which I wanted to avoid uh, by asking you for authentic sources.
Hmm.
Now, another issue that I might have with this is that, like, obviously, I want to be totally unbiased when it comes to understanding all these scriptures. Now, I do not
Hmm.
want to lean towards any particular, ideology. So, if I am reading the scriptures by an oppressed class of people, obviously, I'll get their perspective on it, but
Yeah.
I fear that it might be incomplete. Now, not trying to be insensitive. Maybe I'm still being insensitive,
In
but
incomplete in what sense?
maybe they just show the negative aspects of it. Maybe they just show whatever.
You have I would think that if you're an adult and a Brahmin and an upper caste Indian with reasonable amount of privilege, you have already heard enough about their positive aspects, haven't you? You've read
Well,
you've been told mythological stories, you've been told stories about how the Vedas and the Gita are great your whole life, aren't haven't you?
I do not want my arsenal to be incomplete when I go to argue with religious fanatics in my family, and when they show me the positive aspects, which I might be unaware of.
No, my question is, have you not heard enough good things about them so far in your life?
I have.
Yeah. So
And
I'm
my
what I'm
point
doing
is,
right now. See, here's the thing. You are at this point in life and you
right.
have only heard good things about this stuff. I'm trying to introduce a little criticism of it. And even in that
Hmm,
criticism, you're looking for unbiased sources. That, my friend, is the influence of caste talking through you. Because
right.
you feel there is already plenty of positive reinforcement that has happened. The little critical thinking that I'm adding to it, you are thinking that even that has to be unbiased.
No, no,
I've
no.
been through
That's
this. I've been through this, by the way. I've been through this. Don't worry about it. But I think you need some extremely critical thought about all this. You need to expose yourself to some extremely critical thought about this before you go back to talking about it with your family.
see. The thing is, I do not uh, fear negative aspects coming out of it regarding my uh, ex-religion. I
Hmm.
just feel that when I go to argue with people in my family, I can tell them all these negative aspects, and I know they'll be disregarded because they are not to their taste. They'll
Hmm.
bring in things which were good in that particular text, and then I'll be left flummoxed.
It
I'll be
will
like,
not
okay,
be what they will do is they will try to talk about all this in good terms, right?
hmm,
That does not mean it was good. You
sure,
see
yeah.
the difference.
No, I do not see the
The
difference.
social structures, a social structure is oppressive, suppose, right?
Right.
It treats people inhumanly, it oppresses them, it tells them that they don't have rights, etc. When we talk about it as upper caste Hindus or people from under upper caste Hindu families, we talk about it in terms of, hey, isme kuch acha cheez tha. We are
Hmm.
the ones who are actually misreading it. The only way it should be read is as an oppressive system. And that is what these critical texts will do. If you
Okay.
want, you can read a translation of the Bhagavad Gita. You can read a book by Shashi Tharoor, I suppose. They will all tell you very sweet stuff about all this. But I think we are the ones who are wrong about this shit. They are the we are wrong. They are right. They should win. That's what I'm saying.
I'm not saying that critical analysis of scriptures will be incorrect.
Hmm.
I just feel that, and like I obviously understand power structures, and when it comes to uh, marginalized voices, they must be paid heed to.
Hmm.
At the same time, I feel that there might be positive aspects. Now, obviously, this is all because of what has been fed to me by my circles, by my family.
Hmm.
But I just do not want to be unfair when it comes to
Ashwin, that's what I've been
understanding these
telling
texts.
you. You will not
Yeah.
be unfair. If
Hmm.
how do you like? I'll repeat this one more time because I've already said this. How, how are you describing balance?
No, I'm not trying to balance things. I understand uh, where this is coming from.
Your entire lifestyle, everything you have heard about your religion till today has been positive.
Yeah,
You are already in an extremely unbalanced state. You don't
I
need
agree.
more stuff that is doing both sides. You need things
All
that
right.
are extremely critical of this stuff. When you add
All right.
this, even then it will not be a balance. You will still be biased in favor of your religion because our brains work in a different way. It will take consistent exposure to really critical thought about this for a long time before you can start thinking, now I'm in a balanced place, if you ever get there. When you're
Uh,
looking for literature that better helps you understand Hindu scripture, don't look for both side stuff. Look for things that are only critical of it, because the other side has already been fulfilled by your family.
which is why I was looking for an authentic source, an authentic translation, which might be, which does not lean to either side.
Okay, fine. I'll tell you. Penguin publishes a translation of the Bhagavad Gita.
Okay,
It's there's no commentary in it. It's just a literal translation. It's a small blue
all right,
book. Just look for Bhagavad Gita by Penguin. Maybe you can start there. Cool.
all right.
Yeah.
I'll do.
Chalo. Bye bye.
All right. See you again. I hope. Bye bye.
Yep. Bye.